Everyone knows how important vocals are to any song, whether it be pop or death metal. And yet, many of us don't spend enough time prioritizing the vocals. In this clip, you'll see how Jens approaches vocal automation and the impact this can have on providing that extra 1% in the mix. Check it out and enjoy.
The one really important thing that is maybe even more important if I wouldn't have sort of distorted and compressed the vocals so much is, but still, is vocal automation that I think, well, I see and hear a lot of people maybe not paying enough attention to. And that's, of course, depending on your DAW, how that works. Here in Pro Tools, it works like this, that I listen through, and then I sort of, if my main vocal sound is there, and not sooner than that, I start doing automation, like automation passes. It used to be like ride the fader, like you sort of learn how to ride the fader and then write automation based on that, like VCA automation or moving faders maybe. But these days I sort of play through it, and all the words that I catch that I need to jump up or down, or a phrase that needs to come up or down, I would do that, and then I would do another pass and see, like, was that enough? And now I still need to go about, and that's just like an experience thing. I hear something that needs to come up and down, and if I touch it, it's usually at least half a dB. Sometimes it's even like 2 dBs that it needs to come up to sort of, I usually describe it like keeping the cork floating on the surface at all times. If it gets overflown by water, it means that I've missed a word or I couldn't really hear it was there. Sometimes it really helps having the lyrics at hand as well. It could be that there is typically an F or an S that you may not hear that is supposed to be there, but if you see the lyrics, you see like, oh, that's actually that word. Then I need to find this. Oh, there is a little bit of an F there, and then you need to sort of crank that, and on occasion even have to copy that from somewhere else and try to sort of make the lyrics come through. I should say that that's one of the hard parts by mixing music that you are not, where you not know the language. Like if I get something in singing in Spanish, for example, or even worse, Japanese, which is usually weird, because depending on the level of some syllables, it could actually change the sort of the meaning almost of those sentences. That's what I've been told, at least, and that could create some real issues. So whenever I've been working with Japanese bands, even though if I really think that I've been doing my automation homework on this one, I could still get a text file with the lyrics, and any syllable in red needs that it needs to come up, and any syllable in blue it needs to come down. I would have to act accordingly, even it seems like weird to me, but it would create a result that they were happy with. So, but this is in English. I know English a little bit. Let's have a listen. So that's how it can go about when I do these automation passes. I listen and I register whatever I need to bring up. And some of these are things that I usually wouldn't even think about unless I start focusing on that. So it's worth doing because now it's evened out and everything is sort of more there. And sometimes it can be a point that something is a little bit louder than maybe it's supposed to be, sort of technically. And there is no plugin in the world that can do this for you. You may think there are, but there are not. Nothing beats like a manual thing, because voice is just too complex in terms of how you build the words and frequency amount and all that kind of thing. Having this sort of compression and distortion really helps with the audibility. The last pieces of automation is something that you need to take care of as a mixer. And sometimes I even compress the living shit out of things just for attitude, and I would end up actually having to automate, defeat the compression a little bit to gain the sound, but come back to more the normal dynamicness. So that's something I advise you. I would also like catch any loud S's. I want any syllables to be in there to be like on pretty equal level.